Very good. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We'll be participating in this meeting, of course, remotely, as we still continue to do. And with that, I hope you have a smooth meeting. And if there's any questions or comments, we'll take those at the appropriate time. If you could please silence your communication devices, other than your cell phone or other desk phones. Make sure that your video on mute when we're in Zoom, that'd be great. And for those of you who are participating by phone, if you'd like to raise your hand, you would hit dial *9 that can indicate you'd like to make a comment. And we'll go ahead and with that, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, pull the different agenda. All right, we have roll call, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. District 1.
District 1 here.
District 2. District 2. District 3. I'm sorry, District 5.
Yes, District 5 is here.
Corona.
Present and accounted for.
Eastvale.
Present.
Hemet.
I am here.
Parupa Valley.
Here.
Menifee.
Menifee's here.
Moreno Valley.
Here.
Norco.
Yes.
Paris.
Here.
Wildemar.
They're talking and I can't hear them.
Oh, here.
And I heard District 2. We do have a quorum.
Very good. Councilmember Lormore, sorry, Mayor Lormore, would you like to lead us in a flag salute?
Absolutely. If everybody could please rise and join me in a pledge to our country's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
Very good, thank you. All right, with that, we'll go into public comments for items that are not on the agenda. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak on public comment for items not on the agenda this time?
We did not receive any written comments for items not on the agenda, and I am not seeing any hands raised.
Very good. Clerk, do we have any additions or revisions to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right. All right, with that, we'll go on to the item number 6, the consent calendar, which is just the minutes from the February meeting. Anyone have any questions or comments on the consent calendar minutes?
Move to approve as is.
Second.
Very good. I got a motion and a second. I don't see any hands raised. Go ahead and call the roll.
District 1.
Yes.
District 2. District 5.
Yes.
Corona.
Aye.
Eastvale.
Aye.
Hemet.
Yes.
Parupa Valley.
Yes.
Menifee.
Yes.
Moreno Valley.
Yes.
Norco.
Yes.
Paris.
Yes.
Wildemar.
Yes.
Thank you. The consent calendar passes.
And District 2, yes.
Thank you.
The IT people are trying to get my computer. I'm on my phone real quick. Sorry.
Very good. No worries. With that, we'll go on to item number 7, the fiscal year 2021-22 low carbon transit operations program resolution. Go ahead.
Hello, Chair and committee members. Can you hear me okay? Is my audio fine?
Yep, you sound great.
Perfect. Thank you. My name is Beatrice Megadichin. I'll be presenting on the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program, or LCTOP, for fiscal year 21-22 allocation application. Next slide, please. The Commission's Commuter Rail program applies for various federal and state funds that are necessary to fund rail projects within Riverside County. The LCTOP program provides operating and capital assistance funds for transit agencies and regional entities. The program's goal is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions with a priority on serving disadvantaged communities. Funds are allocated by formula based on population and transit revenue. The program is administered by Caltrans. Next slide, please. The Commuter Rail program is currently seeking approval to utilize $2.4 million of LCTOP grant funds for the Riverside County Free Rail Pass program. The program serves several disadvantaged communities, low-income communities, and low-income communities within half a mile of a disadvantaged community within Riverside. Next slide, please. The program for fiscal year 21-22 allocation will provide free Metrolink passes to residents and students in Riverside County. This effort will be done in partnership with RCTC's IE Commuter and SBCTA. Therefore, both San Bernardino and Riverside County residents will be offered free passes. This program expands current IE Commuter rideshare incentives. The program is expected to last a minimum of 2 years, beginning in fall 2022. I'd like to note that SBTA's program is a 1-year program, and eligible passengers could receive free passes for up to 3 months. After they've utilized the free pass incentive, they'll be eligible to receive the IE Commuter $5 a day incentive that is set to launch April 18. Next slide, please. How will this program work? The program requires RCTC's IE Commuter to sign up as a Metrolink Corporate Pass partner to receive Metrolink passes. Riders sign up for an IE Commuter account. To be eligible, riders upload proof of residency student status. They request a type of ticket, download Metrolink's mobile app, and provide mobile app ticketing ID. Staff verifies this information and the ticket is uploaded to riders' Metrolink mobile app account. For riders without mobile devices, promotional codes will be provided to purchase passes at ticket vending machines. Each month, Metrolink provides an invoice. Tickets are verified and paid with LC-TOP funds. This will make Metrolink whole as they'll be paid the full value of the fare. Next slide, please. The program will use the current IE Commuter website to promote and market free Metrolink passes. RCTC will partner with SBCT and Metrolink to expand promotion and marketing efforts. Next slide, please. The recommendation is to adopt resolution number 22-0088, authorization for the execution of the certifications and assurances and authorize agent forms for the low carbon transit program for the Riverside County Free Rail Pass program in the amount of $2.4 million and forward to commission for final action. And this concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Very good. Questions before public comments? I see Councilmember Bergson, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was curious, who's going to actually do the oversight of this program? So a customer who wants to take advantage of this, are they going to go to RCTC, our website? Are they going to go to Metrolink's website? How does one, A, get involved in the program, and B, what about advertising for this program? How is that going to be handled as well?
So to answer your first question, they will go to the IE Commuter website. This program expands the current incentives. So just like how current incentives work, they go to the IE Commuter website, sign up for an account, and receive the current incentives, such as the $2 a day. This will be promoted on the website. We will use a portion of the funds for marketing and administering the program.
Will the marketing solely go through the IE Commuter website? Is there going to be any mailers or any other types of billboard advertising? I'm just trying to gauge the depth of this program and the depth of how people will be notified of it.
Those are certainly options in terms of marketing, different ways to campaign the program. The details have not been worked out. We're collaborating with SBCT and Metrolink to come up with the best marketing solution. Sheldon, if you have any more insight as to marketing, feel free to add.
Yes, Beatrice, you did a good job. We haven't fully defined the marketing, but we did coordinate. We had a call last week with Metrolink to give them an update with their marketing team. So we'll definitely collaborate and do some geo-fencing marketing just for the Inland Empire. So to make sure that our residents are aware of the program and we can get the word out as soon as possible. The plan is to start in the fall, so we'll have a little bit of time to work out some of the details.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheldon. The last question I have is the dollar amount that we're looking to approve, does that include any money for advertising, or is that money solely for the discounted fares?
Yes, it does include funding for advertising and administration. So we will try to have some funds available to do that. And we can supplement it with other funds we have in the program to make sure we get the word out.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Krupa.
Yes, thank you. Good presentation. My question is, are you considering or will you consider some joint marketing with RTA? Because they also have some discounted ride programs and free ride programs for students. And maybe cross-marketing with RTA would be a good way to get this information out.
Yeah, we absolutely can coordinate with RTA. We just want to make sure that we get the message out appropriately. If these are for rail tickets, so they're not currently available for bus tickets at this point, but that could be something we could look into in the future.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any public comment on this item? If members of the public would like to raise their hand now, this would be a perfect time.
We did not receive any written comments regarding this item, and at this time, I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Very good. Any other board member comments or questions? All right, if not, I'll take a motion.
Move the item, Berkson.
Second.
Delgado seconds.
Wait, did we pick a second, or Lisa?
Yes, I got a first and a second.
Very good. Go ahead and call the roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastvale,
Aye.
Hemet,
Yes.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Moreno Valley,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Paris,
Yes.
Wildemar.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 7 passes.
Very good. That brings us to item number 8, Mid-County Parkway project status and reprogramming of funds. And Mayor, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, commissioners. Happy Monday. So the item before you today is an update on the Mid-County Parkway project, to provide an update as well as to share some recommended staff actions. As you may recall, last month at this committee meeting, we brought forward an item for the committee to consider awarding a contract for design and environmental reevaluation services to Jacobs Engineering to proceed with the second phase of Mid-County Parkway project. We had received a letter. Next slide, please. We received a letter from the city of Paris that same morning, and at that meeting, there was discussion about concerns that the city of Paris had related to the design of the interim facility. So the direction from the committee meeting was to work with the city of Paris in an attempt to address the concerns that they had raised. I very much appreciate Commissioner Vargas and Paris City Manager Clara Miramontes assistance over the past month, as we've had a whole series of conversations between RCTC staff as well as City of Paris staff, in addition to City Council. So we were able to go to the March 8th Paris City Council meeting for a presentation. A copy of that presentation is included in the staff report here today. And I think it was probably a good hour, I think, of presentation, questions from City Council members, and concerns that had been raised, which were similar to the concerns that had been raised at the committee meeting. The primary concerns at the time, we were asked by consensus of the council to explore the possibility of a bridge undercrossing at El Nido. This was a location where there were concerns raised about the Mid-County Parkway cutting off access to a newly built high school. So we were asked to look at a bridge undercrossing at El Nido that would facilitate both vehicles and pedestrian traffic. We were asked to look at how we could maintain a trail that went through this area, as well as asking us to look at how we could ensure that we directed truck traffic to the city's desired truck routes. and with a goal of mitigating traffic impacts on Placentia itself. Based on the information we received at the council meeting, we went back and did some further analysis, and we were able to send a letter to the city of Paris confirming that we were committed to being able to provide a bridge undercrossing, maintain the trail, and to find solutions, technical solutions to direct truck traffic to the city's desired routes. So we had made that commitment on those 3 issues that had been brought up at the city council meeting. And then for the past couple of weeks, we've been having a lot of conversation about specifically about an issue related to trucks. And on the 23rd last week, we received a letter from the city of Paris indicating that they were willing to support the project, but only if we were able to prohibit trucks from using the Mid-County Parkway. And that is certainly not something that is within the purview of our CTC. So we were unable to honor that commitment. So based on that conditional approval, we find ourselves in a position of having to make the recommendations we make today. But before I get to those, I want to do a little bit of background on the project. Next slide, please. As a reminder, the Mid-County Parkway project was an outcome of the CTAP process, so the Community Environmental Transportation Acceptability Process, or CTAP, which was one of the 3 legs of the Riverside County Integrated Project program. That program, a 3-legged stool that integrated land use planning with conservation, with transportation improvements, and the Mid-County Parkway was the selected east-west corridor as a part of that process. We started the environmental document in 2003. I've actually, my work on this has started around that time when I had a different hat on in my seat at Caltrans as the district director. So this project has been underway for about 20 years now. If you recall, the original Mid-County Parkway was a 32-mile corridor, but a decision was made to cut it in half so that it extended only between the 215 and the 79 corridor, with the main priority being to get this segment built to help provide additional access to the communities east of the 215. The environmental document was approved in 2015. There were multiple lawsuits filed in both state and federal court. We did win those lawsuits. We did have appeals filed by the plaintiffs, and we settled those in 2015 as well. Since that time, we have started acquiring environmental mitigation lands and acquired permits for restoration of some of the environmental impacts. Next slide, please. For the project itself in 2016, during the 2016 strategic assessment that the commission conducted, based on the fact that this corridor, as well as several others, were over $1 billion each, if not over $2 billion each, staff was directed to find fundable and buildable packages so we could start incremental construction along the Mid-County Parkway alignment. The first segment, the Placentia Avenue Interchange project, is shown on this slide in the aqua blue to the far left-hand side, close to the 215. Thank you. That's where the cursor is right now. That project is under construction. It's approximately a $53 million interchange. It's about 70% complete at this point. The next section was our participation in a City of Paris project, the Placentia Avenue widening, shown there in the olive green. That is a widening project connecting Indian Avenue to Redlands Avenue. Although it's a City of Paris project and the City of Paris funded project for construction, RCTC acquired the right-of-way for the project, since much of this right-of-way is needed for the ultimate Mid-County Parkway. Not only have we acquired the right-of-way, but we've relocated businesses as well. The section shown there in red is Mid-County Parkway Construction Contract 2. This was the design contract that we brought to you last month for your consideration. This is a short 3-mile section from Redlands Avenue to Ramona Expressway. And then the balance shown there in purple is the balance of Mid-County Parkway. So next slide, please. This slide shows the general alignment between Ramona Expressway and Redlands Boulevard. So the section that I just referenced, the ultimate environmentally cleared Mid-County Parkway footprint is shown there in light blue. What we are proposing as a part of Mid-County Parkway Contract 2 is in dark red. It is consistent with and allows for the ultimate facility. It's just the first interim step. This segment would not be connected to the state highway system at 215. The connection to 215 would come later with the ultimate section. This section is 2 lanes from Redlands to Wilson, and then 4 lanes from Wilson to Ramona Expressway. So if you can see the Paris Valley storm drain there, Wilson is just to the west of that storm drain. So you can see the cursor is circling Wilson. So from Wilson to Ramona Expressway, the majority of the project is 4 lanes separated by a concrete barrier. As we all know, much of the east-west and actually north-south traffic in this area of the county on 2-lane roads, there have been a lot of safety concerns. Therefore, we've got a 4-lane facility with a concrete barrier dividing the lanes to improve safety of the corridor. Preliminary construction cost estimate is approximately $142 million for this initial phase. Next slide, please. To date, RCTC has invested over $150 million in the Mid-County Parkway between the environmental document, the Placentia Interchange, the environmental mitigation, some of the right-of-way acquisition, and some of the relocations for the Placentia widening project. That includes the Placentia project. The item that we had brought forward to you in February was to expend an additional nearly $58 million that would go towards funding both the design work as well as right-of-way acquisition. We have about $36 million already programmed for right-of-way acquisition. The balance was for the design phases. So as you can see, between what's already been expended at over $150 million, plus what we had planned on, we would have been well over $200 million for this contribution so far to the Mid-County Parkway. Next slide, please. So in the conversations with the city, we have tried to accommodate all of the design issues that are within our control. At the council meeting, there were some really good questions. Could we build on a new alignment? Could we build the ultimate facility in the city of Paris? So good questions. However, we don't have enough money to build the ultimate alignment. It would be a significant investment. For this segment alone, to build it at its ultimate would be well over $1 billion. It would impact over 90 homes. Our interim project would impact 1 home. So the questions we were being asked, we are not able to accommodate either for financial concerns or because the issues are simply out of our control. The issues that we've been working on for the past couple of weeks have primarily been regarding truck traffic and our ability to prohibit truck traffic on the Mid-County Parkway, and or our ability to ensure that additional traffic is not generated by future developments outside of the city of Paris. Land use and control of truck traffic are outside of RCTC's purview. So unfortunately, we believe we are at a point where we do not have any more solutions to offer the city of Paris to address their concerns that have been raised. So given the expenditures to date and our desire to make sure that we are focusing our available funds on projects that can move forward to completion. We are recommending today that we stop all work on the Mid-County Parkway project. And I want to be clear that does not mean that I am recommending we stop work on the Placentia Interchange project. That project is 70% complete. It is under construction. We have a contract to complete that. It would not be appropriate nor reasonable for us to stop work on the Placentia project at a 70% completion date. We have an obligation to finish that. So when I say stop all work on the Mid-County Parkway project, that excludes the Placentia interchange. That does need to be completed. Though I need to point out, without the Mid-County Parkway being extended, the Placentia interchange is now a local interchange as opposed to providing service to regional traffic. The second recommendation is to deprogram the funds already committed to current and future work on Mid-County Parkway. You saw in the previous slide that we had $44 million already programmed, so already approved in the FTIP, the RTP, and obligated by Caltrans and Federal Highway Administration. We would need to deprogram those funds. On the remaining funds, those packages are at Caltrans District 8 on hold right now. We would just pull those back and not have Caltrans continue to process those. We would also recommend that, given that we now will have some available funds, that we would return to the commission at a future date with recommendations to reprogram funds on another project. Off the top of my head, I would say our first focus would be to look at
Yes, sir.
whether or not we would have a
I'm
buildable,
in a meeting. What's going on?
that we would have look at the 79 realignment. So we've had the 79 realignment project also on hold due to a lack of funding. I would say that the first place we look is at the 79 realignment to see if there's a segment of that that could be fundable and buildable. So those are the three recommendations. Finally, forwarding this to the full commission for final action. That completes my presentation. I will share with you, this is a very difficult recommendation for your staff to make. This is a project that many of us have been working on for nearly 20 years, and significant resources for the commission have been invested in the project. But at this point, I don't see a path forward given the city of Paris's requirements and issues related to truck traffic. So it is a difficult recommendation and not one that we make lightly, but we do not believe that we should continue to expend funds on the project if there's not going to be support within the community for it. That completes my presentation, and I am happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann, for that update. Sorry to hear this is where we're at today. Supervisor Jeffries, your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty significant change. Obviously, that's an understatement. It sort of admits the defeat of an east-west corridor going forward as a important corridor for our western half of the county, and shifts the burden to Ramona Expressway as the potential permanent solution, focusing all traffic to Ramona Expressway, which then of course pushes it to Cajalco, which is 2 lanes to the 15, and CHP designating that one of their highest deadly roads from the Riverside CHP station in the unincorporated territories. So we're going to have to evaluate those new priorities, Ann, and make sure we address the shifts that are going to come from this. I can speak for my area of the first district, which is Meade Valley through Lake Matthews down to Corona. And we're already in dire straits with a 2-lane road handling traffic it was never designed to handle. And this will raise the issue further up on the priority plate for the first district. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And thank you, Ann, for being brutally honest and what the situation we have here is. You know, the Mid-County Parkway was something that was going to certainly facilitate in and out of Nuevo and Lakeview, and it was a critical link to the San Jacinto Valley, which has been off kind of by itself for a long time. It's been there for a long time, but getting either west or north or south has always been just a lot of stop signs and a lot of 1 or 2 lane roads. Look, it's the Placentia interchange has already been 70. If you don't leave something 70% done, that's a big fancy interchange that was in this first plan. It's a shame that that's getting built and we won't be able to finish that up. But I will reiterate the critical nature of getting people in and out of the San Jacinto Valley. And the 79 realignment, although doesn't go so much east and west, it does get to major, the 10 or down south to Winchester Road and all that. So certainly we can look into that. This is going to be a good, robust conversation. Hopefully some late thing will come in and be able to fix this. But again, we have to kind of re-scramble around and see what we can do.
Supervisor Spiegel.
Other than the word disappointing, I don't know how to express frustration. There's so much need in Riverside County, and the fact that this began in '98 and even the last 6 or 7 years has been so much energy, money expended, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating that we don't hear concerns till so late in the game. It's almost unheard of. And we sit there and complain about the state messing around. I mean, this now affects so many cities, and the discussion of that and how San Jacinto feels about it. Granted, it goes through Paris, but my understanding is a large chunk of warehouses for their tax revenue for Paris. And these are the trucks that they're not wanting to go through the city. I mean, if you're building warehouses, where are those trucks supposed to be? And then to push that onto the Ramona Expressway, which eventually goes to the Cajauco, is the impact on this region is huge. And it's just really frustrating. And particularly the dollars, when you're talking about what 150 already spent, 53 on that interchange, is Paris going to have to reimburse for a project that we've already expended money that they supported up until the very last minute? I mean, this is a lot of money that you're giving to an entity or a city controlling for the whole region. If we don't hold them accountable at some level, what's to say that, we make it easy that someone else decides, okay, well, there's too much truck traffic. We all know that these projects take a long time. I mean, I come from a city that went through an awful lot themselves. You all heard some of the stuff that the city of Corona went through. I'm not going to hide that. And it's, to suddenly stay this late in the game, it is very frustrating for a project that's not just for the city. And I realize the city gets hurt and harmed in some ways, but if there wasn't the warehouse, if there wasn't already the Ramona Expressway, there wasn't already almost 200 million spent, I get it. But it's been 6 or 7 years just recently, let alone that the fact that this really started in 1998.
Very frustrating. Councilmember Lormore or Mayor Lormore?
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you to staff for working diligently on our previous direction to communicate with the city on this issue. This is tough. Frustrating is, well, it's an understatement. We need east-west corridors in this case. We need to have planning, which we've been doing. We spent $160 million on this that now we're being asked to walk away from. And I realize that these are sunken costs, but this truck traffic that we have in the Inland Empire, it's not going anywhere. To not build what we've already spent this amount of money on is crazy. Those trucks, they're still going to be there. In fact, that traffic's going to continue to grow, and they're going to be going on to less than adequate infrastructure. I'm beside myself. I'm hoping that we don't actually have to take action today on accepting these recommendations. I would really like to see another attempt at working with City of Paris staff, elected officials, with the drop dead deadline that we're going to come back next month and hopefully have a solution that is amenable to everybody involved. So that would be my motion, is that we postpone making a decision until the next meeting of the subcommittee, and that we direct staff to go and continue to engage further conversations, because this is so critical to Riverside County. And it is unconscionable to walk away from the investment of $150 million of taxpayer money. Those are my comments, and that's my motion. Thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Bergson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to just say I ditto what Commissioner Lorimore just spoke, and I would be happy to second his motion, or alternate motion, or whatever you call it. But here's a couple of thoughts that I was thinking. First of all, Paris, like every city in Riverside County, has a representative that sits on this commission. And from my personal perspective, it is my job to bring back comments about what's going on in our RCTC world back to my council meetings, so the rest of my council hears what's going on and is always, up to date and up to speed on things. And if there's questions or comments, I'm hearing about it, all the time, and I can bring that stuff back. Well, apparently, this is pretty much, the big punch in the eyeball when you come back at this stage, $150 million into it, and decide now is the time to raise a bunch of issues. So my first question to staff and to legal is, do we have to have approval by the City of Paris to move forward with this project? Because this isn't just about the City of Paris. This is about the east and west cities, on both sides of that. So I don't know if staff has reached out to the other cities, San Jacinto and any other cities that are in that general area that would benefit from this Parkway. But I would certainly have hoped that staff would have talked to the other cities and found out if they also felt issues, the same sort of issues. Because, obviously way down the pike here, it's too late to say, before we spend the money. That due diligence should have been done a long time ago, and any of these questions should have been raised a long time ago. So if we could move forward without their permission, without Paris's permission, that would be one option I'd like to hear about. And how would that work, and what would be the fruitful outcome of all the money that's been spent to date? So I appreciate the time, and I would also, as Commissioner Lorimore said, I would like to see this maybe wait for another month, presuming that doesn't cost us a fortune of money that we still have to be doling out for the next month. But if you could put things on pause for 30 days, give staff a chance, and the City of Paris, they may have just put out a request list. These are the things we'd like. Maybe they will have some time to think about it and settle down and say, okay, this is what we could really live with. I just don't know. That's a question between Paris Council and our staff, but I would certainly be interested to see it come back to us next month with something better than just eliminating all the money that was just spent. And as Supervisor Spiegel mentioned, I also, if this does become the case that this is squashed because of the City of Paris's request, that our legal team does hold them accountable in some fashion for the money that was spent. Just my opinion and my thoughts. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ann, you want to maybe take a crack at those questions?
Sure. So just on the question regarding repayment, we don't have any mechanisms for repayment. When RCTC proceeds with a project, we do so in good faith with our member agencies, and we don't have any agreements in place that would trigger a reimbursement. So I'm not aware of any opportunity to reclaim any of the funds. And I would say too, in that the phases that we've built so far have been in conjunction with the City of Paris resolution that was passed in 2013 that gave us the sequence of events within their city. So this kind of goes back to the question of, can we move forward if the City of Paris is opposing the project? We probably could. Would that be productive at some point? Eventually, we'd need permits from the city to enter into their roadways or to connect to their intersections. So I think at some point, we would find ourselves in a situation where, although we have an approved environmental document and we're building a phase that is in a smaller footprint, we do need the cooperation and partnership of our member agency. We would need permits. So from a practical standpoint, I would say with this level of opposition, it would be very difficult to proceed without the City of Paris support. With respect to will we get anywhere in another month? The things that we've been asked to do so far related to trucks and truck traffic are not things that are within our control. I don't think you've ever heard this RCTC team tell you to abandon a project. So I guess that gives you my level of confidence in our ability. But of course, if this committee wants us to try again, we will certainly do that. I'm not real optimistic, but we'll certainly do that if that's what you'd like us to do.
Very good. Councilmember Krupa.
Thank you. Everybody probably knows that anytime the realignment of Highway 79 issue comes up, I am 100% in favor of it. However, the Mid-County Parkway is also extremely important to the San Jacinto Valley. And while economically it would benefit San Jacinto probably more than Hemet, the safety of our residents who commute using the Mid-County Parkway or Ramona Expressway is also extremely important to us. So this comes as a real shock, because moving forward, we do need increased access and safer access traffic into the San Jacinto Valley. It affects all of us out here, and we're growing, and we are growing, and we are growing, and everything that's happening in Winchester, in Menifee, in Hemet, in San Jacinto, all brings more traffic onto 2-lane roads. So anything we can do to get this going, or conversation we're going to be having, absolutely. The Mid-County Parkway it's important to us. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hoffman.
Thank you. I got three points on this. I come from a city that in the 70s and 80s that fought Interstate 15 and how it was going to take our town and cut it in half. All those years of fighting it, all we did was lose as a city. We lost an off-ramp. It was very costly to our city, and the freeway got built. So no matter how much as our local residents and people try to fight it, it didn't happen. So because progress was, if that interstate didn't exist today, there'd be a mess. So that's an important thing to bring up. It's done, it was engineered, the environmental impacts were done, and it said get it built. And then I come to the other point is I work the San Jacinto for, most I'm a retired sheriff's deputy. I work San Jacinto, Hemet area, I worked the Paris station, and I worked that whole South County. And I can tell you, if you got an emergency to respond to, it's tough making Ramona Expressway all the way across from one end of the county to the east and going to 79. And then when you have to go the other way, your roads are limited. Taking Highway 60 or maybe taking down Sanderson or going up those, they don't cut it. If you're in a hurry or you have fire trucks or emergency vehicles respond. The other thing, and that what's going to happen is that traffic, and this is an impact that's going to be felt farther south, is if there's no easy way, all that traffic is in it going through Menifee down Newport. That's going to be your crossover. But then you're said just earlier, like the supervisor said, where does it go? You have, if you don't continue the east-west to I-15 to the western part of the county somewhere, you either got Bundy Canyon, you have to go across to hook up with Scott Road, or you got to take Newport, you're going through Canyon Lake to Elsinore. And those roads are impacted now. So you got to take some of that impact off and share it going all the way across. So those are my 3 points about it. Is you got to think about the traffic. This mid-county roadway was in the plan for a long time. And, you know, it should have been looked at a long time in all the building we did. We certainly learned that in Norco. You can't fight the state and the federal government. When they want to put it through, it's going through. So that's all I said. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember, and I couldn't agree more, especially the part about Bundy Canyon Road. I can see that traffic coming right down this way through our city here in Wildomar. Frankly, we've got a project that needs funding for that. All right, Mayor Vargas, help us out. What can we do for you? How do we work?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate everybody's comments. Tough place to be in right now, between a rock and a hard place. I truly support the mission of the RCTC. I understand what our mission is, what we're supposed to do here. It's a regional commission. We are improving traffic, not just for a city, but for everybody's benefit. I appreciate the commission's direction at the last meeting of February 28th to direct staff to come back to the city of Paris and try to work things out. We were able to accomplish 2 of the 3 items. I appreciate that. Yes, Commissioner Bergson, I come back and forth always to my city and let them know what's going on. This has been in the talks for a while now. It just that it came to this last final decision where we had to move forward. Not to make excuses, but you know, this project did start a long time ago with 4 other council persons, or I should say 3 other council persons and a different mayor. And it's, you know, the times have changed. High school's now in place. We were able to mitigate that issue. We're basically just stumped with the trucks. And as I said, I do appreciate everybody's comments. I fully support Mayor Lorimore's idea of let's maybe just go back and let's do some more talking again. I appreciate the help from that, especially from this commission and our electeds as well. And see if we can come to some type of a compromise. This is an important project. If we are going to vote today, I have to respectfully let you know I will abstain in an effort to support the consensus of my city. I think we work together as a team, and just because no matter what the number of the vote is, you have to support the mission when it comes to the majority. But I would respectfully request another shot at speaking to our council again. And I do appreciate every work that Ann has done. She has done a lot of work meeting with me and city council and our city manager and staff. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mayor Vargas. Mayor Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I appreciate Mayor Vargas's willingness to continue the conversation. I think it's a good motion by this group to see if we can come to terms. And I almost think that this commission would encourage Mayor Vargas to rally his own council members to reconsider the truck requirement. It seems like it's a deal breaker and it might need to be reconsidered. Mine was really a question, and it has to do with some of the money that's been spent already for some of the environmental things, MSHCP, the Sweeney parcel and the San Mateo parcel. Should this project end up being canceled or moved away from, Ms. Mayor, would we be able to apply credits, or has that already been paid for and purchased? Can you give us an update as far as the mitigation purchases MSHCP wise?
Okay. We did not have to make any additional MSHCP purchases because this was covered. What we did have to do was because of very specific species issues that were not covered. We had to do the Sweeney property and the restoration, and we're in management and monitoring of that. I do not know that would count for any other project. We would have to check into that. There's very little overlap between the extra mitigation we needed to do for the Mid-County Parkway and that of the 79. For example, the 79's extra mitigation was related to fairy shrimp. This was for different coverage. So we would have to check, but more than likely it just now becomes mitigation land in perpetuity, and we'll have to figure out what we do with that.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious if there's a way to apply credits or receive credits for a project not done and be given those credits for something else, like maybe a Scott Road to Bundy Canyon project or something like that that was mentioned earlier. So
We'll check. We'll check.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Bergson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple quick final wrap-up comments for me. If the motion that's, I guess, on the table goes through and we hold this for another 30 days, I think it might be important if, and maybe this was already done, but if staff and Mayor Vargas, you as well, can at least provide the information that this project has been, because I don't know if the city knows this was coming today, pulling the plug on it. But please make sure that the City Council of Paris is fully aware that this would get pulled. The number two, the amount of money that's already been spent on it and the environmental that's already been done. And the last one, aside from the number of years that aside from RCTC, but everybody, even Caltrans, as our CEO mentioned, many years ago, this thing's been in the works. And just, I mean, from a personal perspective, I would potentially emphasize that if this project gets its plug pulled, it will be very difficult to get it re-energized, in my opinion. So those are it. Thank you.
Very good. At this point, we're going Ann, go ahead.
So just one comment along those lines to Commissioner Bergson's last comment. Stopping all work on this project likely means it's stopped, not to be resurrected. And the reason I say that is we have an approved environmental document that survived both a state and federal court lawsuit. We are required to maintain progress on this project. If it goes dormant, and we've done that. So we had the Sweeney mitigation project. We have the Placentia Interchange under construction. We were going to be under construction with this phase of Mid-County Parkway. We have to maintain progress to keep our environmental document alive. If we let that environmental document lapse, I don't know where this commission or any other governmental body will ever have enough money to start over again. So that is, if in terms of the consequences and why we have been trying to make sure we keep something moving, because if we wait, until we have all of the money for the ultimate facility, the environmental document will no longer be sufficient, and we will be in a different situation environmentally.
Board Member Krupa, just a second, I'm going to ask for public comment at this time, and we'll bring it back to the dais one last time. So at this point, is there anyone in the public that would like to make a comment on this item? Not seeing any hands raised, and Lisa, I take it we did not receive anything via paper, but
That's correct.
one last time, any public comment on this item regarding the Paris or the Lake County Parkway? All right, Board Member Krupa, go ahead.
Thank you. That those last comments brought up, is it possible to finish the Placentia interchange and then do the construction on the east end of the Mid-County Parkway to make that into the 4 lanes that it's supposed to ultimately be built out as?
So that would be one of, so when we were saying we would go back and evaluate what could be done instead of this segment, we would go back to the east end of Mid-County Parkway as well as the 79 to look to see what could be done. Just so you know, the original deal with Paris was that we would start on the west end and move east. So that's why we started on the west end, was to start west and go east. We can, if it comes to pass, we can certainly look at the east end to see if we can do east end work and find a way to transition it back and maybe around Ramona Expressway. So yes.
I would sure hope to have some assurances, though, when we do get back to Paris, that they still would allow us to build there. So I would be cautious of that as well. But Mayor Vargas, go ahead.
Just to throw a quick wrench in there too, Ramona Expressway is now a no truck route. These are some of the issues that we're dealing with in the city of Paris. Thank you.
Councilmember Delgado.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to let you know that I believe that if I concur with the majority that we should certainly take it back to the city of Paris, because it sounds like this is the 11th hour and we got to try a little harder. I'm not saying that we didn't try, but man, just a little bit harder for Mayor Vargas to allow us to get back in there and try harder and try more. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Councilmember Speak, go ahead. Or Mayor Speak, excuse me.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, sorry, my connection was cutting out earlier. So I've heard most of the comments. I as a city that suffered through the impacts, for the greater good, there's benefits and there's detractions, but in the end, we need to stop thinking that we're islands. We need to think regionally, and I really hope that we can find a way to make this work and continue, because it is a huge impact for all of us. And being the city that's downstream in some ways, or in a lot of ways, we suffer and benefit at the same time. But I want to make sure that if some reason this doesn't pass, we really, or doesn't go forward, that we look at all the other impacts, especially the ones that Supervisor Jeffries and Supervisor Spiegel highlighted, because those are going to, the ripple effect will be seen far and wide. So thank you. And hopefully we can find a way to work this out. I understand the trepidation. Like I said, as a city who's suffered through this, the greater good sometimes is something that you have to proceed with. So hopefully we find a way forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Spiegel.
A quick question, because Mayor Vargas threw something out. So you're saying that the Ramona Expressway doesn't allow trucks right now? Is that what you just said?
Yes, it's part of our no truck route.
So where do trucks go in your city?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to take the time right now to lay it all out, but there's corridors between that are east of east of Paris Boulevard and west of Paris Boulevard that lead them up to Harley Knox, and then Harley Knox over to the freeway. So they cross Ramona Expressway, but they're not allowed to be on Ramona Expressway.
And are you still building warehouses?
There are still some, we're about 15% left in the city of the north end, and the southern end, we have about 35% of land still available. There's a lot of these projects were all dormant way before I got here when the economy, when it crashed. And now that things are going great, they're all coming back to fruition now.
So I guess my question is, where are all those trucks going to go if you're limiting access?
Well, again, if you're on east or west of Ramona, there are corridors that take you up to Harley Knox. That's our main truck route, is get the trucks up to Harley Knox over to the freeway.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ann, closing thoughts?
Sure. I mean, this is such an important conversation. I want to share that I was not aware Ramona Expressway is also not a truck route, but I do want this committee to know that the other extensive conversation that we had with city staff was about I was not sure that we have a map that will show the whole thing. But once the interim Mid-County Parkway hits Redlands Boulevard, there was a request that we turn the trucks to the north and do that physically. You know, we could do that with a right turn lane. We could force the trucks to go right, but we were asked to ensure that the trucks made it to one of the city's truck routes. And the route from the Mid-County Parkway up Redlands Boulevard to Harley Knox is almost 5 miles. And I was not able to commit RCTC to improvements along a 5-mile stretch. I mean, we're building a 3-mile stretch. I could not commit RCTC's involvement in any capacity improvements and any improvements along another 5-mile stretch. There was another potential truck route that was a couple of miles long, if I'm not mistaken. So we have had extensive conversations about how to route trucks through the city of Paris. From my perspective, the routing throughout the city of trucks is not part of the Mid-County Parkway project, wasn't cleared environmentally, and would increase significantly the financial contribution of the commission, which is why I didn't agree to that. But I just, for full disclosure, I wanted to make sure you knew that that was part of the conversation.
And you said about environmental impact. I mean, also having trucks go that much further through the city, stop and go traffic, increased, environmental impact of that would be significant, wouldn't it? As opposed to just going down and getting onto this brand new interchange that was just built.
Yes.
Mayor, speak.
No, sorry, I thought I put it down. I apologize.
Okay. Well, Mayor Vargas, I thank you for your input today, and I understand that the city has made these decisions to send trucks north. I would, from an air quality perspective, wonder about those decisions, especially the added impact, the added mileage, and everything else. When there's an investment like this being made in the city by RCTC with dollars that could go into other cities, respectfully, it's hard to then take those dollars and say, well, bring that investment, but don't allow certain traffic on that investment and send it a different way. I think it's very difficult for all of us to muster. I think that's and I agree with Ann that making that further investment north doesn't make much sense. So
yeah, well, the concern with the council is the ultimate project was going to connect straight to the freeway. This interim is not doing that. This interim is going to dump or end the traffic, onto Redlands. And that was the concern, that trucks coming through from east-west corridor, they're going to all be coming into the city limits, crossing through some residential areas. Well, basically, when you get off Redlands, you make a left turn, you can make a right turn on Placentia, and then take it across Ramona to get to the freeway. And that's where a lot of the issues came about with the truck traffic, is that the ultimate project that wouldn't have happened. It would have been going straight connect to the freeway. And now it's being directed into the community itself. So that's the challenges that I'm dealing with.
Understood. Ann?
So, and I apologize. I wish we had this map, but there is an updated City of Paris truck route adopted in February, and the east-west truck routes are San Jacinto, Ellis, and Ethonac on the south end of the city. So I can, I apologize for not having it. We can, just so you have a visual of what we've been talking about, I'll have Lisa send this out after the meeting, and we'll include it in a future pack. Oh, Philip, look at you. All right, thank you, Philip. Okay, so Philip, can you put the cursor on Placentia Avenue so we can orient commissioners? So Placentia Avenue and Redlands, that's, we're building the new interchange at Placentia 215. The city's building Placentia. Mid-County Parkway comes in just north of Placentia on Redlands Boulevard. And the requested rerouting is up Redlands Boulevard to Harley Knox, or up Redlands Boulevard to Morgan Street, heading west on Morgan to Indian, south on Indian past the high school to Placentia, and then get on the freeway. Those are the two requested routes. So thank you, Philip, for putting that up so quickly.
All right, so the motion on the table is to, again, postpone for 30 days and hopefully take another crack at this, see if there's anything else to be done. We've gone through that. Unless there's some other motions to be made, I'll go ahead and, not hearing any, we'll go ahead and I'll call for a roll call.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 5?
Most certainly.
Corona? Corona? Eastvale?
Aye.
Hemet?
Yes.
Krupa Valley?
Yes.
Menifee?
Yes.
Moreno Valley?
Yes.
Norco?
Yes.
Paris?
Sorry, this is Laurie Moore's motion, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yes, I'm a yes vote.
Wildemar?
Yes.
And go back to Corona? Okay. Item 8 passes. I'm sorry, the new motion passes.
Very good. All right, hopefully we can come to some headway on all this. So thank you, everybody. With that, we'll come on to the executive director report.
Nothing further, thank you.
All right, any other commissioner comments for items not on the agenda? Oh, Mayor Vargas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to thank everybody for at least trying to work with my city and my council, and hopefully we can come to a resolution.
Let us know where we can help. Councilmember Hoffman.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow, March 29th, Tuesday, is National Vietnam War Veterans Day. So make sure you thank a Vietnam vet or thank all veterans. I'd appreciate it. Some of my comrades. The other thing, and we talked about surplus land. Our city came across a group, and I don't know how many of you realize this, is Homes for Families. They do low-cost veterans housing in your cities, and they take remarkable small parcels of land and develop them into homes for veterans. And this is not rentals. These are actually, they can buy these all through all kinds of vets through CalVet program. So if you're interested, Home for Families, get a hold of me, and we're going to try to put one together in our city. So I met with a group up in Los Angeles on Saturday, and talked to one of the veterans that lives in them. And it's a great program. I was surprised. Thank you.
Mayor Speak, you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got drop call again. I just wanted to register an aye vote on the last item. Thank you.
Very good. Supervisor Hewitt.
Yeah, and thank you, Ted, for bringing that up. And in the city of Menifee on Wednesday at 4 p.m. at Paloma Valley High School, we will be honoring the Vietnam vets. And I'm going to tell you, they deserve it. We treated them badly back when they came back. So the more we can show that love, the more it really is deserved. So I'll leave with that.
Thank you, Supervisor, for bringing that up. I was going to mention it myself. And it's not just for veterans to come. In fact, we're asking people to be there. In fact, it would be disappointing if it was just veterans and there was no one there to cheer them on. So we're encouraging everyone to come. It's at 4 p.m. Paloma Valley High School at the Performing Arts Room there. So we're calling it Welcome Home Vietnam Vets. And just like the supervisor said, we want to do it right this time.
Very good. All right, not seeing other hands raised. I'll go ahead and move us to adjournment. Our next meeting will be back here April 25th at 1:30. Hopefully we'll have some better news to talk about. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.